Neptune the houses, Neptune the houses, just erase the whole damn house. I'm doing a video on Neptune through the houses. Now, the reason why I'm doing Neptune the houses is because it's Pisces season. Neptune is an outer planet, okay? So it's not like our daily planets like our Mercury, Venus, or Mars. No. I'm talking about Neptune in your natal chart, your own birth chart. Neptune as a planet, it's elusive, it's dreamy, but it can also be tricky. It could blind you. And that's why it's easy to be deceived in whatever house that Neptune is in, because it's like this whole big fog, okay? It's a big fog to where you could be glamorized, you could be swindled, you could be lied to, or you could see amidst the fog. You receive this type of clarity, but only when you have done the spiritual work can you see your way around that house. It's all smoke and mirrors. Wherever Neptune is, it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm going to be telling you in each house where you're going to experience these smoke and mirrors, depending on wherever Neptune is placed in your birth chart. So let's get started. Starting off with Neptune in the first. So you might as well erase your whole damn self. You could be deceived, okay? When you have Neptune in your first house, it's like putting fog in front of your face, because the first house is your face, it's your early experiences. So your early experiences could have been involving the themes of Neptune. You could have been influence with music, could have grown up in an artistic field or around an artistic family. You were born into a environment that had a lot of escapism, a lot of loss. Could have been around a lot of medications and other things, and drugs basically. Or you could be a drug to anybody else. Now, Neptune is a planet that can project things on you. So when people look at you, because Neptune can also be a mirror, they're looking at themselves. But they want to project onto you what they think that you are. Oh, you are innocent. You're pure. You're a whore. You're pretty. And because people see this vision of who you are, there's always a camera up in your face, okay? There's always somebody trying to film you. There's always somebody trying to figure you out, because Neptune in itself, that planet, is a planet that nobody can figure out. And some people love the fact that they can't figure out certain people. They're like, oh, they're so mysterious, and that makes them so attractive, that makes them so sexy. And you may have gotten that if you have Neptune in the first house. While you could have gotten the other things, like this person is so deceptive, they're tricky, they're two-faced, they're confused, they're addicts, they're this and they're that, because that is the opposite sign of Neptune. And you're just standing there like, whoa, I just exist. You know what I'm saying? I have no concept of where I'm going or where I'm headed. I just want to gain clarity. And when you do the inner work on yourself, the spiritual work, then you're able to gain clarity around your identity. You don't have people telling you what you should do, where you should go, where you should model, because a lot of people with Neptune the first make great models because they're very photogenic or videogenic. Because Neptune is all about photos and Hollywood and glamour and glitz, but it could also be about artistry and music and deception and deception and deception. Neptune the first, you guys need to be careful, because people could come and deceive you because you look like the perfect little victim, because they could see that you don't know where you're going or what's going on. Which is why it is paramount that Neptune the first individuals practice a level of discernment as well as boundaries, because Neptune is also a planet that erases everything. So if it erases your first house, it means it erases boundaries between you and somebody else. Somebody could be trying to invade your space, or better yet, because Neptune also can indicate psychic powers or clairvoyance or clairaudience or things like that. It makes you an empath as well. So you can pick up on anybody else's energy, and then you're like, is this even my energy? Is this even my addiction? Is this even my mood, my attitude? Are these even my demons? And this is why when you have Neptune in the first house, you have to be very, very careful, because it can erase your very identity if other people haven't tried to erase it first. So stand strong in yourself, Neptune in the first individuals, or Neptune rising individuals. Neptune in the second house. Oh my gosh. Why would you guys be born with Neptune in the second house? Because you're a very creative person. You don't have any boundaries around how you make money. You don't have any boundaries around personal values or self-esteem or what you could wear or who you could touch or taste or date, because that's what the second house rules. Neptune is no boundaries. This is where it erases that house. There are no boundaries to how you can make money. There are no boundaries on how you could love or how you could spend money. And that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. For instance, you may not know, on the flip side with Neptune the second, you may not know how you're going to make money, because money could be here one day and then money could just disappear. Or you could be swindled out of your money, because Neptune makes that house very vulnerable. You could have grown up and you're like, I don't know what my values are or what my beliefs are or my self-concept because everything's been up in the air. I had nobody teach me anything. And so you have learned to pick up on everybody else's beliefs or everybody else's values or affirmations. And you're like, I just do not know. So people who have Neptune in the second house have to come to the spiritual awareness that your self-concept, your values, your beliefs have to be in alignment with something spiritual, something rooted in spirituality or rooted in faith, so that you don't lose yourself, because it's easy to lose yourself in whatever house that Neptune is in. And it's not good for people to lose themselves in the second house, because not only could you lose your finances, you could lose trust, you could lose your possession. And the best possession that you have is your set of values and your self-belief and your self-concept. And if you don't have any of that, Neptune could really screw you over in this house. So how do you do that? You adapt certain beliefs. You get into spirituality. You believe what is best for you. You have your own rules around what you value, what gives you self-esteem. You put that in place. And sometimes you may lead upon a pastor or a spiritual leader or a guru, and you have to be careful that they do not swindle you out of your money. You also have to be careful that you don't fall for a sob story. Like, you could be donating money to charities and things like that, and you realize, oh my gosh, I haven't seen anybody get blessed from my money, or oh my gosh, I've been used the whole time, because money is gone, because Neptune has screwed me over again. But here's the positive about having Neptune in the second house. You can make money from your creative endeavors, from songwriting, from creative writing, from artistry. You can also be one to not only give away money, but people can also donate money to you, because you feed into their fantasy. Because fantasy, Neptune is fantasy. In the second house, you give that to people. So as long as you give that to people, people will continue to pour into you. This is also a perfect position for you to manifest money. You say affirmations like, money flows to me without hurting anybody. I am worthy of wealth. I'm worthy of prosperity and abundance. And when you do that, that's when you are truly able to master Neptune in the second house. Now on to Neptune in the third house. Creative writing is actually good for you as well. But Neptune erases whatever house it's in. So in the third house, when it rules your neighborhood, when it rules your writing skills, your communication skills, maybe your early learning experiences, you can find that in your life, you didn't really have much of a childhood, like maybe not much of a neighborhood, because you were consistently moving, or people were in and out of your life. You could have been accused of daydreaming a lot in your classes. And they're like, okay, your child never pays attention. They're always daydreaming. They're always scribbling in your book. You could have been that child. Neptune the third can also scramble your brain. It can erase your mindset. You're like, okay, I had this in mind, and now I don't know what the hell I was saying. Can somebody help remind me where I left off in the conversation? Those type of things happen as well. Neptune in the third house also rules your driving skills. So watch for your car getting flooded. I would also say that you should stick to a certain route, because when you go to different route in the road, when you're traveling, it could lead you on an adventure, or it could lead to your downfall. So be careful for that. Because Neptune is in the third house of communication and podcasting and thinking, you could come up with things on the top of your head. It could be lies, it could be truths. You could be accused of telling lies, but you believe that it's true. And sometimes in these instances, you realize that it's true because you prophesied it, because Neptune is psychic ability. It gives psychic prophecies. It gives premonition. So the people who say that you were lying can see that you're telling the truth, but you also have to watch out for being lied to by your community, by your siblings or your cousins. Okay, them motherfuckers could be lying their asses off, and you believe them because you want to, but they play in your asses. But you could play other people back. You could in fact be gifted for not only playing people, but screenwriting, creative writing, singing, poetry. I also see that you could do some ASMR, because with the third house of the voice, people can find your voice very comforting. You could be one of those book readers, you know what I'm saying? Those audio books, and people are always requesting your voice, like, you need to narrate this, you need to sing this, because you have that gift and you have that talent, and you could be known for that as well. But you have to make sure that you're consuming things that are right for you, that are true, and that are spiritually in your best interest, because whatever Neptune is, it soaks up the area around them. So if you are soaking up bad influences, you're listening to bad music, you're listening to news that is low vibrational, you become that. Then you begin to speak that, because Neptune, the third house, is also I speak, therefore I create. position in your birth chart. So you have to be very careful because you are a master manifester when it comes to you speaking life in your reality. The Neptune in the fourth. Neptune in the fourth. What is home? Like, really, what the hell is home? You guys could have grown up, because I think I have a sibling and somebody in my family, it could be a friend as well, that has Neptune in the fourth. Moved around, or we were always flooded toilets, not knowing where you're going to live next. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing an idea of what home is, because home could be here or there. So you create your own home. You create your own atmosphere throughout your creation. This is also a sad point for people, placement for people in their chart, because Neptune in the fourth is somebody who never felt safe at home. Neptune blurs boundaries. So wherever Neptune is, it's going to erase the whole damn house. So you probably were subject to spiritual abuse, psychological abuse. Anything could have went, even though there were moments of fantasy and joy and having space to read and create and listen to music, because Neptune is music in the house. You came from a musical household. It could have also welcomed in equally chaos, because Neptune, it's smoke and mirrors. It's not always happy, go sunshine. Let's take me off to fantasy land. Let's be creative. It is also everything goes and everything leaves. So you could have had a house one minute and then you could have been moving the next. You could have had a family member one minute and then they were gone the next. It could have been through death and loss, or they just you could have lost them because they chose to leave. They abandoned you. So Neptune, the fourth house, could also represent abandonment. How do we fix that? Okay, how do we add form to that house? You figure out what your dream home is, what your dream family is, how you would like to fill up your atmosphere. You create your own atmosphere from getting into a sacred place within yourself first, which is your body. Okay, that's your first home is your body. So you have to feel safe in your body first in order to create this dream life that involves property, that involves your home, that involves creating a family, or you will get lost in the sauce. I also see with Neptune in the fourth house, you guys could love to live around water, around the beach, or around an area that values spirituality, like a spiritual community. You may be moving to a spiritual community, but watch out for moving into cult-like communities, because you could got there as well. And I also see that you could be open to letting people within your home. So if you have a friend that is couch surfing, you'll probably be the first to open your home to them, because you know how it is to couch surf, because you've experienced homelessness at one point of your life. But make sure that you have your boundaries up in your home, because people will try to trespass. So you have to do a lot of spiritual protection. I don't know if you go into spell work, I don't know if you're into prayers, but you need some type of spiritual protection around your house, along with discernment around your house in which family members that you choose to deal with. Remember what family is to you. Ask yourself, what is family to you? What is love? What is ancestral healing? What is protection? What is safety? On to Neptune in the fifth house. When you have Neptune in the fifth house, you can have a surprise pregnancy. I'm just kidding. No, really, because fifth house rules your children. So you can find that you are manifesting a child if you are barren, or if your partner's barren. Or you can find that you have a one-night stand and you're just dating this person, you're just seeing this person, and then you're just up and pregnant. Neptune in the fifth house is a dating life with no boundaries. It's having children who have no boundaries, or who have artistic gifts, having dating partners that have artistic gifts. The fifth house also rules your romance, your joys, your hobbies. So you could love listening to music. You could be a fan of like filmography, like the 50s or the 40s, creating content, filming, taking pictures, being out there, being in the limelight. That could be your dream, because Neptune also rules your dreams. The thing is that Neptune can blind you. It could deceive you. It's all smoke and mirrors. So while you're out there pursuing a dream, you could be swindled out of your dream. Or you think you're fulfilling your dream and you're signing a bad contract, like people who get in the music industry and they sign bad contracts with their label, or people who thought that Hollywood would be one way and then it's another thing where you have to do certain rituals, conspiracy-wise, to get into certain films or positions. Neptune in the fifth house can mean attracting a partner who portrays to be 1 minute one way and it's something else in the next 3 weeks or 3 months, because that spell wears off. So you could be subject to abuse in your dating life because you're wearing rose-tinted glasses, because that's how Neptune is. So you want to erase the whole damn house. You're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to have a child. I don't know what to do with my child if you have children. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what my dating life looks like. I don't know what my passions or my dreams or my goals are, because that's what Neptune does in the 5th house. But when you are tuned to your higher self, you then realize what it is to be loved, a higher form of love. You know what it is to tap into your creative abilities, have that creative flow. You know what it is to heal your inner child. Therefore, you can have a child, or having a child to hear the inner child. I also want to point out that maybe Mary, mother of Jesus, had this aspect because she delivered her deliverer. She delivered a savior. So if you are a Mary out there and you're pregnant or you're thinking about having a child, you may or may not give birth to a savior or a messiah of your time. Maybe an artist, or you could be giving birth to a Martin Luther King Jr. or Kurt Cobain. People who are artistic, people who are spiritual leaders, people who can save the world. So that's a way that Neptune can manifest itself in the 5th house. Just make sure that you can discern what's going on with your kids, because your kids can deceive you. They could be telling you they're somewhere partying and they're somewhere else doing Lord knows what with Lord knows who. Watch out for kids and drug use. Watch out for partners and drug use. Do not allow your partners to get you into any sticky situations, especially if there's no clarity around that. Just to let y'all know. And as a side note, love is earned sometimes. Neptune in the 6th house. What happens when you have an elusive planet in the house of everyday responsibilities and demands and reality? Did I already say that? This is what happens. You will have a daily routine, and then you'll figure out that you don't have a daily routine because Neptune erased that whole damn house. You don't know what's going on with your health because Neptune erased that whole damn house. You don't know what job to take or where the next job is coming from because Neptune erased the whole damn house, okay? So you're just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing in this life. I don't know what a routine is. I'll just go with the flow. I'll just turn on my music. I'll just listen to my tunes. I'll just go where my higher self tells me to go. Or I'll just go follow the beat of my own drum because my life was not as normal. My life doesn't have any boundaries. I do what I want whenever I want to. Or I go wherever the wind takes me. Okay, that's Neptune in the 6th house. Now the thing is that you have to discern what you're signing up for when you do this. When you leave life up in the air, when you leave your health up to the air, or when you go on a specific job. You could be signing up for a job or getting an online job and you're like, yes, I'm finally employed. I no longer have these long waiting periods of employment. No more poverty. Yeah. And then you get into a job that promised you this position or promised you this much pay or promised you how certain things would go. And you're like, you Mickey Ficky, you done tricked me out of this position. You Mickey Ficky, you done tricked me into a job that is a piece of shit. And you put up an ad or an opening for this job and a bunch of lies in there. You put up a job listing with some great benefit training. You said I could use Excel. You said I could go on a lunch break. You said I could have this X amount of holidays and off time and vacation time. And you lied to me. Okay, kind of like when I worked for a medical job from home. They swindled us into this whole thing, and I don't have Neptune the 6th, but this is an example. I was on an online job. It had to do with the medical industry. That's Neptune. And everybody was happy until we realized that we weren't getting any vacation hours and that basically we had to work holidays. That is what Neptune in the 6th does. It promises you a whole lot of good things on a job. And then you realize that you're in bondage. You're in corporate slavery because Neptune can do that. It deceives you. It takes from you. You could be at work and you realize that your stuff is gone. Somebody stole from you. Somebody stole your material. And you're like, oh my gosh, who the hell would do that? Well, who the hell would share their ideas with the person that you got a hunch about? And you know that this person is low down and dirty because you have a hunch, but you didn't follow it. Or who leaves their files open? Who leaves their computer up and logged in? That's what you have to watch out for when you have Neptune in the 6th house. You have to use a certain discernment when it comes to job listing, when it comes to applying for jobs application, when it comes to eating certain foods or taking certain pills that promise you one thing. You could be taking Wegovy or whatever shots that they give you to lose weight, and you're like, okay, I've hit my dream weight, and then you keep on losing weight and you look like a skeleton. You're sick now. Those are things you have to watch out for. And also, whoever you hang around in your daily life will have an impact on your health as well. So it's easy to get stressed. It's easy to get sick. or easy to get caught up into sticky situations on the job. You must know that even though you look for a dream job, there really isn't much of a dream job, okay? You could manifest one because Neptune is in charge of manifestation, but you have to get clear. You have to use your discernment, and you have to use discipline and put up boundaries. No, you cannot come to my house at 12 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I have a schedule. No, I cannot eat this ice cream when I am lactose intolerant. No, I will not put up with abuse at this job because I feel sorry for my coworker who just gotten a divorce, or my manager who just got divorced, even though she was having an extramarital affair, or he was having an extramarital affair. You must have boundaries in your daily life, and you must hold yourself accountable for your own health in whatever position that you play in your daily life. Now on to Neptune in the 7th. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Neptune in the 7th house is a perfect position to attract people who are like your dream, only to realize that they're not your dream at all. This is a position that can deceive many people who are born with Neptune in the 7th house. So let's say you meet a partner, or you meet a person, they fine, you know, they look like they just walked off a movie set. Neptune glamorizes people. They're everything that you could dream of, and they give you this offer, and you decide to go into business with them or go into a relationship with them. Okay, you could even decide to have a one-night stand with them or get married to them, only to realize that you have been deceived, that this person is really abusive, or this person is a con man, that this person is a bum, or you just don't know this person at all. And in some instances, you could find yourself in a partnership, and then all of a sudden your partner is gone. What happened to your partner? They disappeared. They disappeared out of thin air? Huh? Are they under this bed? Are they under this blanket? You'll never know, because Neptune does that. It erases whatever house it's in. So if Neptune is in the 7th house, it erases boundaries in relationships. It can even erase your partners, okay? It can erase the respect that you have for the people that you're talking to, or erase the boundaries that you have with your best friend. Your best friend who has Neptune in the 6th house just said that you cannot pop up at her effing house at 12 o'clock a.m. and there you are, because you have Neptune in the 7th house. Did you forget that the 7th house does not only represent other people that you get in a relationship, it also represents who you are in a relationship. So you also have to check yourself when it comes to respecting people's boundaries. 7th house also represents how you're seen to the public. So to the Neptune in the 7th house, you could be seen as a dream. You could be seen as someone who should get into modeling. Like, you look like a model, or do I know you from somewhere? You could attract people who remind you of someone from the past, or you could remind other people of the past. You just look so stunning. Oh my gosh. But Neptune also deceives. And not only are you deceived, you could deceive people. You could come across one way and be someone else different. You could come across as strong and be weak. You could come across as being innocent and really being a villain. Okay, Neptune does it when it resides or erases in the 7th house. You could also look one way and then look completely different the next day to other people, because that's what Neptune does in the house of other people. So you have to watch out for that. You have to watch out for entering unknowingly abusive relationships, ignoring red flags, being an abuser yourself, not respecting boundaries or having people respect your boundaries in return. And you have to be truthful. You have to use a spirit of discernment when it comes to your partners, and you have to heal yourself. This is a position that could lead you to looking to other partnerships to heal you, other people to heal you, your best friends, people to bail you out of things. And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. You know, a nightmare for a Neptune in the 7th house person is looking at reality. But you must look at reality so that you're no longer swindling somebody or racking up on karma that you have to collect later on. But you can be very good looking, and you can showcase your talents to other people, because Neptune is at the other house. So if I'm Neptune in the 7th house, I'm showing you my artistic abilities. I'm showing you how photogenic, videogenic I am. But I'm also showing you that I'm smoke and mirrors. And because the 7th house is like our reflection, and Neptune is like a mirror, we could reflect back the same type of partners we are. Ain't that something? Neptune in the 8th house. Neptune just erased the 8th house. What the hell? Okay. What the hell did you step into when you decided to be intimate with somebody? You didn't expect to be intimate with this person, or you figure out that the person that you're intimate with turns into someone completely different when they're in the bedroom. Okay, they could whip out a bag of intoxicants or a little bit of wine, and they say, I cannot have relations with you. if I'm not under the influence, because when I'm under the influence, I'm relaxed. When I put on that music to make love, I am relaxed. Then I can merge with you. And that is a desire for Neptune, the 8th house people. They want to merge with somebody. So if Neptune erases the 8th house, they want to merge with their partner, okay? They don't want to see themselves anymore. Neptune, the 8th house, is very tricky when it comes to death, because the 8th house rules death and Neptune is a mystery. Some people could die by drowning or by substance abuse or being drugged. Some deaths can be unsolved. Or it could be just something random, like you just up and died from an illness, from a cough. You just caught it yesterday and now you're gone. 8th house is also the house of grief and transformation. And you could be like, I didn't know I was grieving. I didn't know that I had this bond. I didn't know that I was traumatized. I didn't know I had this inheritance. Because Neptune, 8th house, also represents inheritance. But you have that. And you have spiritual inheritance. And the way to get you through the most traumatic or the most transformative experiences in your life is by having a spiritual relationship, maybe with God. You'll hold on to your spirituality in times of grief, in times of dramatic change, in times of commitment and bonds. Sometimes if you invest in the stock market, or you're gambling, or you have your taxes, you could realize that you haven't paid your taxes in 3 months. I mean, you haven't paid your taxes at all. Or you can figure out the things that you were investing in blow up, so you get no return on your investment. Or you can enter a partnership or get married to somebody who you didn't know had a lot of debt, and they have a lot of debt. The positives of Neptune in the 8th house is being bonded to your soulmate. Just like with Neptune the 7th, I haven't mentioned that. But the positive aspects of Neptune in the 7th and 8th, if you've done the spiritual work, if you transform yourself to become the person that you want to be, your dream self, not everybody else's dream self, not everybody's expectations of you. When you do the spiritual work within yourself, you can also draw in soulmate, okay? A twin flame. Neptune, the 8th and the 7th house can also represent you getting in touch with somebody from your past life, because Neptune is also a spiritual planet. So you could also be like, I used to sleep around and stuff because I didn't know the meaning of what intimacy was, of exchanging spirits was. But now that I'm enlightened, now that I have some spiritual rooting and I have this awareness, I realize that I don't have to give of myself like that. Okay, I could give myself to something higher. Or you could be like, you know what? I'm not giving myself to nobody until I've met my soulmate. Unless my spirit guides or my angels or God or the universe has showed me that this person is worthy of my time, of my space, of my intimacy, or my body. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's talk about Neptune in the 9th house. I have this, I effing hate it. Neptune erases your higher learning, what higher beliefs you have, what religion you have, your college, even your walk in life. You don't know where you're walking in life. You don't know what you want to be in life. You don't know which path you're going. You don't know, or we don't know what we want to major in college, or if we want to even go to college. We don't know what to believe in. We could follow gurus who come across one way and they're saying all this good stuff that we want to hear, or they're saying things that make sense. And then we hang with this person or follow this person on social media, or go to their gatherings or their events or their churches or retreat, and realize that we're in a cult, or realize that this person is mentally ill, or this person is just really sick. Okay, this person is two-faced and it was all facade, and they led us down a hole, or they let us out off of a cliff. The good thing about Neptune is it can be a savior, but you have to realize that in order for you to see who a true savior is, you have to learn some spiritual discernment. See, when you're operating at the higher octave of Neptune, the 9th house, you'll see who is real about their walk, about their spiritual walk, and who isn't. Who is a snake oil salesman, or who is a fraud, or who is a false prophet. When you use a spirit of discernment, you can separate the real from the fake. And having this position, I've realized that if I needed a spiritual leader or a mentor or guru, I could just go straight to God. I could just go straight to my ancestors. I could go straight to the universe, because there's nothing blocking me from there. Because remember, Neptune erased that boundary of the 9th house. So I could call upon the spiritual world and manifest. I could call upon the spiritual world and know my path. I could call upon the spiritual world, right? And become and transform into who I was supposed to be physically, spiritually, psychologically. I could have access to my higher self. That's what people like us with Neptune in the 9th house need to learn, is that we can't follow everybody, and that not everybody is for real, for real. Now, when it comes to college, you may not need college, or you may not go to college, or you go to college for like art or spirituality. You may want to be a pastor, or you may want to compose films or be a songwriter. That really won't get you any money, but I guess it's the joy of it that matters. Oh yeah, and traveling. You could lose things when you travel. You could find that you are on the wrong train or on the wrong plane, or it lands at the wrong place. You're like, why am I in Bermuda? I was supposed to go to Norway. Why am I in Norway? I'm supposed to be in Japan. And you realize that this happened because you were meant to be there for a reason. You were meant to meet that person who was going to be your mentor, your life partner, your saving grace maybe. Or maybe you will be a saving grace to the person that you meet in those areas. But you are divinely at the spot that you're in because you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you are supposed to be. Neptune in the 10th house. Where the hell are we going? What the hell is life? Neptune erases the 10th house, where your career is, where your true calling is, where your vocation is, where your business is, your managers. You'll figure out that as well as people with Neptune in the 9th house, that people who are supposed to be over you, who are supposed to be your mentors, your teachers, your bosses, your managers, be authority figures, you realize that they're loony birds. You realize that you cannot depend on them. You realize that they don't even know what the hell they're doing. The 10th house sometimes represents a dominant parent, particularly the masculine parent or the father figure. So if you have this, you could be like, my father figure is a loony bird, or he's not here, or he probably passed away, or, you know, he's just lost. Like, what the hell? So I'm lost. So I don't know where I'm going. All I know is that I thought I had a career, and now I don't. I lost my job. I thought that I was going to be this person, and now I'm not. Okay, so I don't know where I'm going in this life. So I have to depend on my spirituality. And you may find that it's your spirituality that gives you the career, that gives you your vocation. Find with Neptune in the 10th house that you can have a career that involves film, photography, artistry, anything Neptune, healing professions, counseling, music, even prostitution. Even things like that, because Neptune has no boundaries. So it has no boundaries in your career of who you can or cannot be. But the thing with Neptune is that you have to find your higher self to get that higher calling. Neptune is really telling you that you need to lose yourself. You need to lose the expectations of who you thought you were going to be. You need to lose the expectations of what authority figure you were going to be or who you're going to have, what position you're applying for, because Neptune is faith-based. So you have to have faith that even though you cannot see in this area of your life, in this house, that you will end up where you're supposed to be at. You have to do a spiritual walk. Sometimes you have to manifest your dream job. Sometimes you have to script your dream job or speak over yourself that you will be a success, because everything is spiritual. The way that you'll handle the 10th house and its affairs are spiritual. It's not mundane. Okay, it's not concrete. It is not Capricorn. I don't give a damn if Neptune is in Capricorn in the 10th house. You still have to navigate that big, okay, from a higher standpoint, from your higher self, or from a spiritual lens, because then your career or what you're supposed to do will approach you. You can't go searching for it. You have to open yourself up to discernment, okay, and open yourself up to receive messages so that your spirit guides or God or your angels or whoever you believe in can reveal to you what you're supposed to be doing in this life. There's endless possibilities of what you can do, but you really have to align with your higher self, fulfill this vocation or what you were called to do in this life. That's what happens when Neptune is erasing the 10th house. Now, Neptune in the 11th house. Are you guys friends with drug addicts? Or are you friends with people who are victims, or people victimize you? Are you friends with musicians? Or do you have friends one day and you don't have friends the next day, right? That's what happens when you have Neptune erasing the 11th house. You have a whole array of friends from different walks of life. You spread this agape love to everybody, but everybody may not return it. You can have friends that use you. You can have friends that lose themselves in you, because that's what Neptune does in this house. You can have friends who are tortured souls, tortured artists, and they need your guidance and they need your love and you're this and you're that. So they use you, and then after you heal them, they leave. That's what Neptune does. It gives you addicts so that they could heal through you and drain your life force and your energy and leave you, especially if you have a Pisces placement there. You may find that with the 11th house representing dreams and your future and your goals and communities, that you don't really know what your dreams and your goals are. You don't know what the future holds. So you don't like making plans. You don't like making goals. You don't like making a list of where you want to be in the next 10 years, because that type of pressure doesn't do good for you. You don't know what the hell is going on in the 11th house because it's all smoke and mirrors. You thought that you wanted to be an influencer, and now you're realizing that it's harder than what it was. It's harder than what it seemed, because Neptune is like, oh, I'll give you a break. I'll give you a vacation. I'll give you an image. I'll give you smoke and mirrors. And you're realizing that it takes far much work to be an influencer. It takes far much work to break into the film industry. It takes far much work to maybe do tarot readings on the internet or be an astrologer, right? Because Neptune says that, oh, you attract, you don't chase. But with the 11th house naturally being ruled by Saturn, you have to put in some type of work. Neptune in the 11th house is saying, let go of expectations of your future. Don't be so concerned about the future. Practice a level of discernment when it comes to people who are entering your life, because like I said, you're drawing in people who need to be healed or people who could be swindlers. So you have to put on that discernment to say, you know what? I'm going to be judgmental. Are you good for me? What is your purpose being in my life? Can I trust you? That's how you protect yourself. Now, when it comes to your dreams and your goals, your future, your aspirations, you have to let that go and let God, and just be present, be in the moment, and say to yourself, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to go about my life. This is how I want my life to look. And when you get down to what you want your life to look like, how you want to feel, who you want to be now, then Neptune will clear the fog in your area, and then you'll be getting a lot of downloads when it comes to where you're supposed to go in your life or what your future is supposed to look like. Okay, and last but not least, Neptune in the 12th house. What does it mean when you have Neptune in your natal 12th house? This makes you psychic beyond repair. Okay, this makes you very intuitive. This makes you connected to the unconscious, to the things that are unseen. Someone who has a very sharp hunch. All right, like you could go in a room and you could pick up on the underlying themes of that room, and you're like, oh, hell no, I am the F up out of here. Okay, because it makes you very intuitive. You're someone who cannot separate reality from your dream world. You may go outside in your house, you may go outside, and then you're like, okay, am I living a dream or a reality? You could also be prone to lucid dreaming. Like you could be dreaming and then you touch something and you feel that you're outside. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not outside. And see, that's confusing, because then it's like when you go outside, you feel like you're in a dream. Neptune can be deceptive, okay? It can erase the whole 12th house. So because the 12th house rules spirituality, because the 12th house rules the subconscious, your past life, and it rules your secret enemies, you could feel like you have no defense. You could feel like spiritually you're exposed, right? Like you're vulnerable for spiritual attack. You could feel like, oh, well, this spirit tells me to do this. This reading told me to do this. I had this thought, so I'm going to go ahead and drive over there. And then you end up in the ghetto. Or you end up in an area where you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. Because Neptune can do that to you in the 12th house. It could also make you unaware of who your enemy is. And you're like, what the hell? Like, I never thought out of all people that my teacher would sabotage me. You're supposed to be my authority figure. Why are you my enemy? They were behind you the whole time. 12th house is what's behind you. So you cannot see your enemy, but you could pick up on it. You could pick up on the energy. And sometimes you have self-doubt and you're like, oh, I don't believe that. I just don't. I mean, I haven't seen it in real life. I haven't gotten a dream on it. And then the next day, you get an affirmation. You get a dream that your teacher was sabotaging you. But because it didn't happen in reality, even though it happened in reality, because Neptune the 12th does that, you're like, when did life become a dream and dream become a reality? When did they sync together? You could be somebody who could tap into different portals or different chapters of time. Okay, you could be a time traveler, so you think. In your past life, you could have been a very spiritual person. You could have been a high priestess or a high priest. You could have been a medicine man or a medicine woman. Or you could have been a bum. You could have been somebody who was lost. You could have been a fortune teller, a victim. Neptune in the 12th house can create a lot of victimization, or you feel like you're a victim. It can create a lot of defeat. Like, I feel so defeated. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what my soul craves something, but I don't know what it is. And the way for you to succeed in this house with Neptune here is to pray, to meditate, is to affirm. Okay, when you take time out of your day, out of your space, and you create boundaries and say, I'm going to take this moment to actually get some good sleep. Okay, take care of my spiritual life, my spiritual health. When I get this space enough in my schedule to pray or to meditate, you'll realize that you get more answers than anybody. You'll realize that you can tap in deeper than what your peers can, and you get all of these answers and these psychic downloads. Okay, you yourself can be a prophet. You yourself can see premonitions. You're like, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that I was that in tune. And the reason why you're getting this help, why you're getting these answers, why you're getting this wisdom is because this time you chose not to escape. You chose to take some sort of accountability. You chose to grow spiritually. And so now you know what to look out for. You know which spirits that you can test. You know which spirits are true or which are false. Okay, who are your angels? Who are your demons? Who are your enemies? Who is there really to help me? Who is my spirit guide? What path am I supposed to be on? And so when you get grounded with yourself and you're able to make peace with Neptune and say, you know what, I may not know the answers to everything or why I have these premonitions, but I have faith in the path ahead. I have faith that I know that I'll end up where I'm supposed to be and that everything will make sense. So that is the reading for Neptune in all the houses. Just erase the whole damn house or bring clarity, because Neptune can bring clarity, but it brings clarity when you do the spiritual work. For those who've enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any more questions regarding Neptune, feel free to give me some recommendations on other videos that I can make in regards to Neptune placements, or you could just ask your questions below. Peace.
Let me tell you something. You don't own no streets.